Hi, I'm Joabi Sujima. I am the best-selling author of Montessori Inspired Activities for Preschoolers, and I run Montessori Crash Course with Deb Chitwood of Living Montessori Now. And I also help moms build a business around their family so that they can save time and do more of the things that they want to be doing. Now today I want to talk to you about three-part cards. So I love the Montessori style three-part cards. I think they're a really great teaching tool, but I also feel like they don't get utilized as well as they could. So today I'm going to share 3 games that you can play with them. Now I'm going to assume that you have already used the three-part cards in the traditional way, and I've got a blog post explaining how to do that if you need to learn that technique. Once you've done that, and maybe your child just needs a little bit more practice with them, or you've got multiple kids that need to use them, or maybe you just want to extend the life of your cards a little bit more, then you can use these different games. So the first one is the shopping game. So my son loved this when he was little. What you do is you need a little basket and you need a set of cards, and go and hide the cards around the house or the classroom or wherever you are. And then your child comes to you and asks what you need from the shops. So you can tell them, oh, I need some shiitake mushrooms. So they'll go off and find the shiitake mushrooms, put the card in their basket, and then come back and give it to you. If it's correct, you take it off them. If it's not, you'll say, that's not shiitake mushrooms, I'm afraid. And they have to go and find it again. So this is great for memory and concentration skills. And when they're younger, or depending on their ability, you can start with just one item. But as they get older or they get better at the game, you can start adding more things to the list. So you could give them 3 items to go and do the shopping for. So that's the first game. And you don't need to sit and supervise the whole time when you're playing this. So you can introduce the kids to play, and then one of them is the shopper and the other one is mom or whoever. And so that frees your time up to be going and doing something else. Or you can be doing it while you're working. So I did this a lot while I was trying to juggle my business with a toddler at home. I would set up the game and he would come and ask me what I wanted, and he'd go off and get it, and I could get on and write a blog post or whatever. So it's one of those things that you can do while you are doing something else. The second one is memory. Now you must have played this when you were a kid, where you have pairs of cards and you turn them all over with the image down, and then you turn one and then the other to match them. So this is a great way of using the cards, but when you turn the cards over, you must name the card. So you turn the first card over, it's shiitake. The second one is button mushroom. They're obviously not a match, so you turn them back. And then it passes to the next player. So the important part of this, and why it works well as a language game, is the repetitiveness of reading out the name of the card, or memorizing and recalling the name of the card as you turn it over. So do that, and then you count up the pairs, who's won the most pairs at the end. Again, this is one that you can play with mixed ages and mixed abilities. If you've got kids of very different age and ability, then you can give the younger ones extra help or something. There's always a way to kind of fudge it to help players that are younger. And then the third one, now this one is really good, especially if you can't get outside or your kids need some kind of big movement activity as well. You're going to make a board game out of your cards. So just use the picture card and spread them out in a line, so it makes like a road or a path, and you have a start and a goal. Now, to make this last a little bit longer, or to add some extra fun into it, I had 2 sets of cards. So I've got a set of yoga cards that I would use. So I'd mix those in. So it might be like a couple of mushroom cards, and then a yoga card, and then a couple more cards, mushroom cards, another yoga card. Or I also had a set of cards that I made when I was teaching, which would have things like stand on one foot for 5 seconds, or pat your head and rub your tummy, or what other things? Jump, do 5-star jumps. So there was like action cards in with the picture cards. And then you need a dice and some counters of some description. Roll the dice, move the card forward how many, your player forward how many spots, and then do the action. So if they land on the 3-part card, picture card, all they need to do is name the card. If they get it wrong, they have to go back to where they how many they've rolled. So if they've rolled 5, and then they have to go back 5. If they get it right, then that's great. And then if they land on an action card, they have to do the action, whatever it is. So this is a fun game. It's not a quiet game usually, but it's a good one to get some movement and get into memorizing the names of the cards and recall as well. And there's a bit of maths in there too. So it's a really fun game, but it's also getting to make use of your cards as well. And finally, a bonus is get your kids to come up with games. Kids are really creative, and if you can get them to come up with a game, invent their own game and play it together. But what also happens when you get kids to play or create their own games is they're learning about rules, why you need rules in place, and how to set rules, and why something does or doesn't work. So they might come up with a game which sounds great and they play it, but then for some reason it doesn't work. So it's kind of a problem-solving activity as well. But it's a really, really good way to get your kids thinking creatively, thinking outside the box, and problem solving as well as creating fun. So they are my 3 big tips. First is the shopping game. Second, memory game. Third, giant board game. And your bonus is get the kids to make their own games too. So yeah, do make sure that you have introduced the 3-part cards in the traditional Montessori way before you start introducing these other games. Because once kids have got to know the vocabulary, these other games are really just to reinforce what they've already learned. Right, if you need any more help, give me a shout. You can find me all over the internet at Jojo Ebby, so that's JOJOEBI. I'm on most of the social media. My website's jojoebby.com, so just find me out there. And yes, have fun with it, because if kids are having fun when they're learning, they're going to be lifelong learners, and that's what we really want.